During the massive Black Lives Matter protests in the year 2020, many Black people took to social media platforms stating that they wished that Black lives mattered to Black people. I was both fascinated and disturbed by the evidence of such lack of critical thinking on behalf of our people. Because those Black people cannot say for certain that Black lives doesn't matter to Black people when all of our narratives and mainstream media images that we receive about ourselves comes exclusively from the white society. From the white society that has the inherent incentive to keeping us believing the fraudulent worst about ourselves. Because doing so is how they keep us divided, demoralized, and our collective aggression shifted away from their white society and redirected against ourselves. It's how the white oppressive society protects itself from massive unified Black retribution. Those Black people who don't critically think never notices their mental change. The mentally enslaved condition is also called thinking without actually thinking. Whenever I encounter a Black person making negative generalizations about our racial group, I know immediately that I'm within the presence of a mentally enslaved Black person. Because the mentally enslaved ones cannot see that they can't actually confirm their negative statements about our racial group based upon their own experiences. Those insisting that they can, are delusional. Because it's not humanly possible to accurately assess the collective state of millions of people based upon anyone's individual experiences. It is not humanly possible. Those negative perceptions about our racial group were actually deliberately embedded into our collective minds by the white society that writes all of our narratives and that controls all of our mainstream media images. They, in fact, literally owns our interpretation of our collective state. And they've weaponized this fact against us. They keep us believing the fraudulent worst about ourselves because doing so demoralizes us, divides us, creates Black self-loathing, and it shifts Black collective aggressions away from the white oppressive society and redirects it towards and against our own people. It also creates a buffer class of Black people that defends the white society against the Black population. As long as we're kept within this collective condition, we can then be ruled over forever. This psychological warfare system was developed and implemented in 1968 in response to that decade's unprecedented unified Black protest. White social scientists that were hired by the Kerner Commission to study the African American population to understand the reasons for that decade's unprecedented protests determined that it was caused by an elevated and unifying Black collective self-esteem brought on by the emergence of the Black Pride movement. They therefore logically now prevents massive unified Black protests by keeping us demoralized, divided, and our collective self-esteems very low. It's the true reason why virtually all Black narratives from the white society are consistently negative and Black racially demoralizing. Millions of Black people then internalizes those negative narratives and then starts repeating and functioning based upon them, although they've not actually confirmed it themselves. The reason why millions of Black people insist that they've confirmed their negative embedded beliefs about our racial group based upon their own experiences is because because once a false belief have been successfully embedded into the human mind, people will then only notice those incidents that appears to confirm their embedded beliefs, and they will become psychologically blinded from noticing the greater amount of evidence refuting the embedded beliefs. And then based upon this psychological blindness, they will insist that they have confirmed it for themselves that the false embedded belief is true, although it's in fact not. This is what's called the illusionary truth effect, also known as the illusory truth effect. It's the inherent flaw within the human psyche. Here's one example of the illusionary truth effect and how it's being used against the black population. If and when a black man has been made to believe that all black women are abrasive, loud, and rude, okay? If this man attends a function where there are 40 black women in attendance and he witnesses one black woman acting in accordance with this embedded belief, then based upon the action of this one woman alone, he will insist that he has confirmed it for himself that those narratives about black women are true, while being totally psychologically blinded from noticing the other 39 black women that are not behaving in accordance with the embedded beliefs. It's the illusionary truth effect. This illusionary truth effect is also why many black women insist that they've seen it for themselves that black men are running in droves to marry white women. And that upon success, most black men goes out and find a white woman. Propagating this belief amongst us subliminally conveys the myth of white racial superiority, because the message is that black men are seeking an upgrade by getting white women. But it's totally a lie that many minds have been trapped into believing by the illusionary truth effect. The truth is that, according to the U.S. Census, 86.5% of black husbands in the U.S. have black wives. Only 7% are married to white women. And it's also untrue that most wealthy black men are marrying white women. You can prove this one for yourself. Compile a list of 40 random black millionaires, male millionaires. These are athletes, actors, businessmen. And Google their wives. From that random 40, you'll find that at least 70% are married to black women. Contrary to popular beliefs, most successful black men marries black women. The white media's image of our people is a crooked mirror reflection of our people. Our people have been programmed to believe lies. Then they only notices those things that appears to confirm the embedded lies. And they become psychologically blinded from noticing the abundance of evidence refuting those lies. Case, point, and proof. Here's another. Those black people that have been manipulated to believe that our racial group never supports each other, but that we're actually like crabs in a bucket that only wants to pull each other down. This group ignores the fact that during the 2008 election of President Obama, he received more black votes than any previous president in U.S. history. Millions of black people that had never before voted in any previous election registered and voted for Obama in 2008. In some states, black people stood in voting lines for up to 5 hours. During Obama's inauguration, millions of black people showed up in Washington, D.C. in record-breaking numbers at their own expenses, filling up those expensive hotels. And many stood outside in record-breaking cold temperatures to witness Obama being sworn in as the first African-American president. These facts and countless more totally destroys the myth, the lie, that black people are crab in the buckets, never wanting to support each other, only pulling each other down. But because of the illusionary truth effect, many black people have been brainwashed to believe that. They have our people trapped in an illusionary truth effect. And we must wake up from it. Sadly, to our detriment, the oppressed will always believe the frauds and worst about themselves. While black people studied our Bibles, believing it will protect us, white oppressive forces studied how to hijack the group minds of targeted population by feeding them this information. And they also studied how the mind works. They use this gained knowledge to create a prison for our minds. And while they developed a sophisticated system, They have our minds dumbed down and distracted to believe we're being controlled by silly slave syndrome myth, which presents what will be the least effective method used for controlling generations of people. The time of believing in dumb shit is over. It's time to elevate your minds and see the truth. One love and peace.